Hey everybody, welcome back in the shop. Back to work on the S10 again. Got the rock sliders done, got the bumper done. Last video I just put up. So what I'm working on now is the rear frame. I wanted to shorten it up to begin with, but what I ended up doing, the reason I ended up doing it is because the rear shackles were rotted through where they mount at. The shackle mount in the frame was actually rotted out. I'll spin you around and show you that, and I'll show you what I intend to do with it here, and we'll get started on it. I am going in about 3 days to the off-road park local to me here. I will get a video of that. Me and a bunch of buddies are going out. Try this thing out, just test it out. But I will get some video of that. It might be kind of a long one because I'm going to run the GoPro, and I'm also going to have some camera shots and maybe a couple stills or something. But anyway, back to this. I'll spin you around and show you what I'm working with here. As you can hear, passenger side, I took all this shit off a while back. There's another video. As you can see here, a bunch of holes in the frame rotted there, and this is the shackle mount that's all rotted to hell in there. This whole piece right here is supposed to be, solid, so that when this swings around it's not going to do anything. But it's also broke right here too. You can see that big crack. I could fix that. I could just patch it. I could probably patch all this. But I wanted to change the suspension up a little bit anyways. Sort of. I wanted to shorten this up. I wanted to get it, it's about 10 inches or so to here. I'd like to take that all off there so there's no negative hanging over the back side. I want it to be this, basically my farthest part back would be the springs. I really thought about doing coils on it for a while, 4-length, but as of right now, basically this is just stage one. We're doing it as cheap as I can get it. So what I'm going to end up doing is I got this big tube here. This is a 3-inch wide by 5-inch tall. I'm going to, you can see I got marks here. I'm going to cut the frame out basically down through here, all the way down. I'm going to leave this top section on because this is going to protrude out about 1.5 inches or so. And I'm going to build new mounts for their springs off of these using these bushings here and some tube. I'm going to take these 2 bushings with some tube and a sleeve in it and basically put them together like so with the tube in the middle of it, and then I'll build a mount off of that tube onto the bottom. This will be on the bottom side, onto the bottom side like that, and then the shackles will just come in here like so and swing back and forth. It should be no problem, should be plenty strong enough. I'll fully weld it across the top all the way around the inside and outside. It'll probably be stronger than it was factory. That'll give me also another brace going across here. That's a 7-gauge 3/16 wall. I'm going to plan on cutting a center section out of here, probably 2.5 inches out of the center section of that, so I could run a hitch into it. And then I'm going to continue that up farther forward and try to connect it somewhere up into here, whether it be run another bar across there or just kind of triangulate it off to hook into the frame again somewhere else. I may not get to that part before I go to the off-road park, so we'll see how that goes. But same thing over here. I got to cut this all out, get the bar put in there. I'm going to make those new mounts before I start cutting anything out of here. Pretty much just, you're never going to get these bolts here out, so I'm just going to take the cutoff wheel, go right inside of there and cut the bolts off both sides so that this will come free. And then I'm able to work in there and get that cut out of the way. So that's what we're going to get started with. We got the bolts cut off there, as you can see. What I did is I got in here as far as I could to get that crack out, made some marks. I'm going to go ahead and cut that chunk right out, all the way out of there, and then I'll probably just cut this piece here. I'll just cut that out of there because I'll probably just take all that off pretty much anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. I'm going to leave this top piece so that I can weld across here to that, and then weld on the inside and outside to make sure I got a good weld area. I'm going to do the same thing on both sides. I'm going to slip this tube up in there, see how everything's going to work. What I think I'm going to end up doing, I did do these two, basically 1 3/4 hot roll electro weld tube. It's kind of like a DOM, it's just a little cheaper, and it has a welded seam. It is similar in function. Some people do use this on roll cages. A lot of dune buggies, things like that. It's quite a bit cheaper than DOM. Basically just made those little things like that, and then I'm going to get some tube in here. I'll get a piece of tube on here, weld it on. I think what I might end up doing is bringing it all the way up the side up here kind of flush with the top, so I can weld here, weld down both sides, maybe put a couple of gussets in it even to make sure it's extra strong, and then this will be on the bottom side, and it'll go inside of the shackle there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut out, and I'll bring it back when I got a little bit closer. Alright, you can see, got it notched out, get it cut out. I got this piece put in there. I'm just kind of test fitting right now. I got to figure out where the shackles are going to go so I can get these mounted up. This is going to run into this, so what I'm going to do is cut this off. That was the old spare tire thing. I wanted to take that off anyways. And then I'm going to cut that across there level so that I can also weld this bracket to this bracket and give me just a little bit more strength also. So I'll get that marked out. I'm going to cut that. Like I said, cut these bolts off and knock that piece off there. I am kind of hoping to put a hitch in here, whether I put just the hitch part itself in there and weld it to it, or if I put a piece of tube in there that I could slide a hitch in and out of. Either way I think would be fine, but I would also like to support this, you know, coming back out, you know, maybe across into the frame, both sides up a little bit farther, so that it's not just pulling directly on the center of that tube. But I will get that figured out. First of all, I got to get this crap out of here, get this centered back up, figure out where the shackle mounts are going to go and get those made. So I'll bring you back in a bit. Alright, so here's my idea. I'm going to put these two out here. I'm going to end up coming in here with a couple of gussets, probably top and bottom, probably even plate the top, make that super strong. We got that tube welded into there. This is a 2 squares 3/16 wall tube. I'm going to weld it fully all the way around, like I said, with some gussets, probably put a couple of gussets off the bottom of here. Once the tube goes through the frame, I'll gusset it back to the frame here. Same thing on that side. In the process of doing it now, like I said, here's my tube. There's that, just put it in there, weld it up, make the measurements. These just go in there with the sleeves. Then it'll bolt into the shackle and it'll stick down. It'll actually give me about a couple more inches of lift also. So I'm going to go ahead and get this finished tacked together, and I'll get it set up in there, tack it into the frame, get it hooked up with new bolts, and then see how everything's set, see if I like it or not. That way, if I don't care for it too much, I can just cut the tacks back off, think of something different. But I think it's going to work fine. Like I said, I'm definitely going to have to gusset it, you know, just to make sure this is strong, because it's basically just going to be a heavy butt weld in there. So I'll come back in with a couple of gussets each side. Gussets all around. I'll bring it back once I get it set up in there and tacked in place. Alright, so I think I got this figured out. I ended up having to cut it a little bit farther in because my shackles were too straight up and down. They need to be at a forward slant like they are right there. So I had to move this forward about another 1.5 inches. So I did that. That's all set and ready to be welded on. I'm going to, like I said, put some gussets here. Weld that on top, and I'm probably going to plate across the whole top of here. What I'm doing right now is I ended up cutting a 2-inch hole in there. I was going to do 2.5 for like a regular Reese hitch sleeve so that I could just slide one of these in and out. But it didn't give me enough meat in there that I felt comfortable doing that with. So what I ended up doing is just cutting 2-inch out, and I'm going to take one of these hitches and slide it in there and weld it into there. But I got this long one in there so that I can see how far back I can get into here to brace another spot. I wanted to get inside of here across right in front of these shock towers and weld it to the shock towers, weld it to the frame, and then come out and brace here. I was going to do this angle, but it doesn't quite line up. It doesn't set on top good, it doesn't set in front good. If I put it underneath the frame, it doesn't set underneath there well either. So I'm trying to figure out right now how the best route to get something in here that will be able to weld onto here well, so that it's going to hold and be supported good. So I'm figuring that out right now. Once I get it figured out, I'll bring you back. Probably going to end up having to get longer shocks, because this is going to raise it up the rear end here about 2 or 3 inches. So I'll probably end up taking these off. I'm just going to end up cutting these bolts out because they're so damn rotted in there anyway. I'll never get it unbolted. So I'll just cut these off, get some new ones, get some longer shocks, put them in there. Coming down to the wire. It's a Thursday night right now, and it's supposed to be wheeling Saturday morning. So tomorrow's probably going to end up being a late night. But if I can get this figured out tonight and start getting everything tacked in to where it's movable again, that'll give me a good head start on it. Then I can just fully weld everything once I get it all figured out, all the dimensions and everything. So once I get that figured out, like I said, I'll bring you back here, figure out what I'm going to do here, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, here's the gist of it. Sorry I didn't get into too much depth along the way. Like I said, I'm trying to thrash on this so that I can get to the off-road park this weekend with some buddies. So I kind of didn't do a lot of filming and just basically worked. You know, I've probably got, into this piece alone, I bet you I've got 20 hours or, you know, plus. And then the bumper is probably a good another 10 hours. And that's after working, you know, 40-hour week at work too. So just trying to get it done so I can get out and play with it this weekend. But I did end up putting some gussets in, a couple on each side, on the bottom also to support that. And I took the frame and wrapped it down and around. I got to finish doing some welding, doing some more welding on that. This for right now, I basically just welded that hitch into there. I am going to extend the back side yet. I'll get a sleeve that goes over top of that and run it back. Hopefully I can get that done tomorrow. If not, then hopefully I don't get stuck. It is on its own weight right now. Everything seems to be working good. As you can see, it's got the little kickback. That's what I was looking for. Eventually I'll cap these ends. I believe I'm going to put a couple of gussets right in here. Probably one there, or maybe even a tube cut at an angle to fill that in to make it a little bit solid. I had these angles and I wanted to put these inside of the frame like so, and then I was actually going to bolt this part to the frame and then weld the other part to the back of that angle. You know, I'm not a professional welder by no means. I feel pretty confident in it, but I'm also very confident in some grade 8, you know, 3/8 bolts going through the side of there too to help hold it on. But I was not able to get into there. There's no way I could get in there to make marks on it, to weld it to it before I slipped it in there and drilled the holes. So I'll think of something else. Like I said, maybe I'll just come off here, you know, way back into here with a plate, or just gusset them. I'll figure something out. I did get a couple of welds across this here and around there. I do have a piece of 3/16 plate that I believe I'm going to cut, probably say here, and then come back all the way across that, and then I'll make it to where it goes tight up against this and kind of comes around this and goes all the way down. I'm hoping to be able to get that done yet tomorrow. I'll probably work on right now getting a cardboard template laid out, get that figured out right now. That way I can get it cut out and weld it in there tomorrow. I do have to finish welding the underneath yet. I have not got to the back side underneath of the frame yet, or inside if I can even see anywhere. As you can see, I got a hell of a mess going down here, so I'm gonna get this all cleaned up. I'm pretty whooped for the night, so I'll come back at it tomorrow pretty hard. I got all day after work tomorrow, you know, till wee hours of the night, so hopefully I can get her accomplished. If not, I'm going to run it like this either way. I do need to get some new bolts, so those are not the right ones. Those are just something I had laying around. So that's what it looks like. You know, hopefully you like it. Leave me a comment down there below. Like I said, I'm not quite finished yet. I got to weld here, got to weld the bottom side of that where I wrapped it down and around, and I am going to put a plate in there, like I said. So, you know, maybe it's overbuilding it, but I would much rather have it overbuilt than underbuilt. So, you know, it's pretty heavy duty. That's all 3/16. That's all 3/16 tube in there. There's 1/4 inch gussets. You know, one on each side. The ones underneath. That's a DOM tube, 120 wall, basically roll cage stuff. So that should hold, you know, those bushings. All it's basically doing is holding those bushings there, you know, for that shackle to swing on. So it should be good. So once I get it all finished out the rest of the way, then I'll show you the final results. I'm hoping to get it undercoated and stuff yet tomorrow too. So we'll see. I gotta get the front bumper installed. I got it all done. I just got to get it on and bolted up. Got to hook a ground wire back up because right now the fuel pump's not working. And hopefully I haven't made up my mind yet if I'm gonna. Maybe I thought about maybe putting some tail lights in here. Tail lights and blinkers right into this tube, but I don't really want to cut holes in there to ruin that. So what I'm thinking is when I do the cage up and around, I'm going to bring back, you know, the kicker bars and land right on top of this, you know, somewhere in here to help support, or even out here, and then maybe an X off of that. I'll figure that out once I get that far yet. That's about it. So stick around, I'll show you the finished product. Here's the rear end, mostly complete. I would have liked to add a couple more gussets in here, but I run out of welding juice. Added a top plate on here, is 3/16. Got some spot welds into the the main frame here, plus the rear frame that I'd built. Shackles mounted. Got that welded in with that. So she's all good to go. We're loaded up on the trailer, getting ready to head to the off-road part. So we'll stick around for that video coming up next. Thanks for watching.